Hi, everyone. Hi,
Hey,
Roberta.
hey.
Hi, Logomai.
Hello, hello, Miss Sleuth. Hey, Roberta.
How
Um,
you doing tonight?
I am doing. I am
It's
doing.
it's been what, like 63 months since the last time we went live together?
Every week it's like, wait, are you busy? Okay, you're busy. Okay, this time I'm busy. You're busy. I'm busy. You know what? Next week. Yeah, this, that. We're back, though. We're
We are
back.
finally, I know, like for now, right? Hopefully
Now,
the
yeah.
next couple Wednesdays we should be good to actually
Yes.
get together and do our lives,
Right.
but I don't want to jinx it though.
Exactly.
Like I feel like we're touching wood.
No, I know we're there, and I'm in the back of my mind thinking, well, I'm going to be going on vacation in July, but
Oh,
maybe between now
geez.
and July, yeah, exactly.
I have a vacation in August. Are we gonna end up like being back to back gone again? Oh
Just might
no.
be. It is probably. I think I'm July 10th or 11th, and I
Okay.
come back at the end of July, the last day
Mm,
or so of July, something like that.
hilarious. And then I'm gonna
Oh
be
my
gone the
god,
first full week of August. We need to coordinate our vacations a
we
little
do,
bit
we do.
better.
Okay, yeah. We need to go, and it's like at work where you have to share the vacations and figure things
Mhm.
out. Look at people in chat. There's Lee and Patty and Linus, and I love this. It's good
Hi,
being back,
everyone.
though.
Hi, Miss O. I know, right? We'll see how many people we get. We lost Wednesday night audience is probably
Audience,
all out wandering somewhere.
yes.
We
It's
can
there's a
catch up.
lot. This time is always. This is the time everyone goes
Oh yeah.
live.
10 o'clock.
It
Yeah,
never
it's
fa
rough.
yeah. It is always this one time, so but this is ugh, I've been looking at this one all morning. I mean, I've been watching your lives usually at night is
Mhm.
when I watch your lives, and, so I did not get to totally watch this morning's, but yeah, you were sharing some good videos on this. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, there's some crazy stuff out there with this case.
So before we jump too much into
Yeah,
this, though, I do want to pull up. Um, there is a 12-year-old girl, Maria Gomez Perez. Have you heard of her? I think
I
you covered
actually
her,
covered her
didn't you?
2 yeah,
Yeah,
2
that's what I
weeks
thought.
ago. Yeah,
Okay, so her reward now is up to $50,000. Let me get the video that you did on her because I'm sure it's going to have a
some
ton more information in it
yeah.
than what this news article is that I'm going to show. But I do want to make sure that we
Yeah, she's
share a missing.
actually yeah, she was actually the one that day that I covered her. I almost covered Nadia with the Soraya Ong and Aaron Ong case, the
Oh yeah,
3
yeah,
of
yeah,
them.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, at that time it was just Nadia missing. And I almost covered Nadia because I was like, "Oh gosh, 21-year-old disappearing in the airport, that's not good." And then I came across Maria's case and I was like, "Something's not right with this."
We
Okay,
totally had
people
that whole
can
conversation. I remember
yeah,
now.
yes, you got it. You got it. So, but I'm so happy they're up to 50,000. Wow.
Yeah, it's really concerning because, well, you can probably tell a little bit more of the details. I just read a couple brief articles,
Yeah.
but she just vanished. I mean, by all accounts, she just vanished. She's only 12 years old. Let me play the video and we'll see what all it says.
Now to a developing story. The reward to help find a missing 12-year-old girl in Hall County now up to $50,000. Local businesses are coming together, donating to that reward, sharing the flyers with her picture. Channel 2's Christian Jennings joins us live on Atlanta Highway. That's about a mile from where the child was last seen. And Christian, neighbors are just trying to help with the search.
Absolutely. And when we went business to business today, we found a flyer on every one of them. Take a look at this restaurant. There's a flyer right there. And if you look across the street at this busy intersection, there's a digital sign there in both English and Spanish, making sure that everyone knows about Maria Gomez Perez and how they can help.
And we're not going to stop. The reward went up to $50,000, which we are so incredibly grateful for that.
Norma Hernandez is a busy business owner in Gainesville, but right now her focus is on helping reunite 12-year-old Maria Gomez Perez with her father.
He's very sad. He's a very sad dad waiting his daughter to come home with.
Officials say Maria was last seen at her home on Westside Drive off Pearl Nicks Parkway around 10 a.m. May 29th. 3 weeks later, detectives have investigated more than 140 tips, but still no sign of the young girl, who deputies believe could be in danger.
She's a child, and to be gone that long, that's a serious issue. And, so there's so many possibilities of where she could be and what could have happened to her.
The Hall County Sheriff's Office announced Wednesday the reward sits at $50,000 thanks to generous business donations.
We have done over 30,000 flyers easily. I got permission yesterday from the DOT to post highway signs on the road. So we're working on all that. We have thousands of volunteers.
So much effort being made and so many prayers going on in this community. Hernandez told me that she got together with about 24 local church pastors just last week who promised to keep Maria's name in their sermons and to keep praying for her and to also stay up to date on all the information about her search so that they can pass that along to their congregations. If you have any information, call the Hall County Sheriff's Office.
So, yeah, I wanted to share this out. This was something that I came across actually 2 days ago. I was over on her group over on Facebook, and someone made a comment that they had ordered from DoorDash, okay, Uber Eats, that type of thing. And when it came, they actually had the poster attached to the order. And I thought it was how I've never seen that done
That's
before.
awesome. I wonder if it was
Yeah.
the restaurant doing it or if the DoorDash driver was
And
adding
that's what
it.
we're not sure. We're not
Mhm.
sure what, but yeah, I was talking about it the other day because each of these posters, what people don't realize, they cost money. If you go printing one out, it's what, 7 to 10 cents a page, something like that for a color print. That's why families often will have things like GoFundMe's and all. They need money to be able to advertise and get the face out there.
Right.
But this was just so ingenious, whether it is just that if you're a DoorDash person keeping copies with you and just putting tape on it, or if you're at a restaurant, just at rather than just putting it in your window. I thought it was such a wonderful idea there. So yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick.
No, that's awesome. And so brief details about the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. Do we know anything such as like was she meeting up with anybody? Did she have social media? Is it that type of situation or what are they looking at investigative wise? Are you aware of like any of the recent updates?
There's not much recent. What I can say from the beginning, it looks like she and her family were from, I want to say, Guatemala.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure how long they've lived here, but they've lived here
Okay.
for a little while. But enough that she's probably not used to lifestyle of the big city and stuff, like
Right.
Gainesville or whatever.
Too trusting.
So yeah, and that was a lot of it because it does look like she was on social media. She was talking to people who may have been older than she was, like
Mhm.
20, 21 years old. And having that trust of someone older, my concern, she was walking down one of the roads when she disappeared. That
Mhm.
road's near a highway, very near a highway.
Ugh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So did she disappear with someone she had been talking about? Or did
Right.
someone pull over and grab her? Either way, I have a funny feeling there was a lot of trust there. And my gut is saying they are worried about potential her being with someone who does not have the best thoughts, even trafficking at this point. I'm getting that gut feeling from all the media discussions with law enforcement.
Right. No, that's awful. Hi, Emily. Hi, Daddy's baby girl. To collect the money, you would have to know something that could get you arrested, I would think. So sometimes that's not necessarily the truth. Um, we have had situations, for example, Casey White and Vicky White, the escaped prisoner slash the jail guard that were out on the loose. They had stopped at a car wash, and the man who owned the car wash was able to pull video cameras, and he actually had to fight for the reward because he had called police instead of calling the reward company, but he did eventually, as far as I know, get a payout. Um,
Right.
but it could be situations like that as well. It doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily have to be the person who committed the crime that
Right.
necessarily is going to have information that could lead to arrest. Sometimes it could be as simple as, seeing Maria out there somewhere
Oh,
and with somebody, or on like license plate, or maybe you're seeing something the day that she went missing, maybe something along those lines. Speaking of, like, just random people seeing things, that's actually part of how they found the case that we're going to be talking about, Madeline Soto. They found her because somebody was able to say, "Hey, I seen this guy changing his tire in that area. I seen that
yes.
vehicle of interest." And so we know that based off of, I think it was the first day that I was reading through the documents,
Right.
we were able to read that guy's call. And so, if there was a reward in that situation, because that information led to finding her,
Right.
hypothetically speaking, that person would get the reward if there was a reward, or depending on the channels he went through for the call. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. A lot of times people think, "Oh, well, I can't call in a tip because it might not be good enough. It might not be the right tip or whatever." Let the police decide. Now, don't waste their time, but on the other hand, how many times is it someone, and I was going to say with the money bit, sometimes, and I've heard of this, where depending on what the crime is that you would be charged with, sometimes they're going to be a lot more lenient because you've done the right thing by reporting something, and they'll be able to give you a deal or something like that. So it's not necessarily like, okay, yeah, you're in trouble to report. No, sometimes they'll work with you also.
yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of questions about Jenn Soto whenever it comes to, that does she have knowledge? Does she have guilty knowledge? Does she have information? Somebody on this morning's live mentioned, that she may have been offered a proffer.
Mhm.
And for, if you don't know what a proffer is, um, I'm just gonna, okay, think back to Gannon Stauch's case, for example. Harley was given a proffer
Proper.
so that she would testify against her mom.
Against.
And it's basically so that you can give any information that you have or may have about a crime, and you don't have to face charges yourself for whatever involvement you may have had in
Mhm.
that crime, directly or indirectly. We watched Kayla Montgomery kind of do a similar deal, um, and that
Okay.
she was able to say all the stuff about Adam, and then she was able to get reduced charges for what she knew in the case, and then not charged at all for, abuse of a corpse, and different things she
Right.
should have been charged with. So,
Right. Yep. True. Good point.
hi B Tim, by the way.
Tim's here.
Hmm.
Tim.
So the documents, as far as the documents go, we were kind of on the second interview of Stephan Stearns. We're gonna skip around a little bit today. I do want to talk, or read through this part, and
Mhm.
then, obviously the part with the photos. I also want to skip to Jenn Soto's part, and that way Lokamai and I can kind of discuss the thoughts around everything. So I'm
You got
gonna
it.
go ahead and start
Awesome.
reading, because we're gonna be reading for a minute.
Reading,
Um,
reading, and reading. Yes, exactly.
Right. So on February 28th, Detective Acosta and I conducted a second digitally recorded sworn interview of Stephan Stearns. Below is the synopsis of his statement. I asked if I had his consent to download his phone, or if I needed a search warrant to collect the contents. He said it was fine and provided me with his phone PIN. I advised Stephan that while digital forensics was looking through his phone, they noticed that there was a lot of communications between Maddie and him. I asked Stephan to explain to me the relationship between him and Maddie. He said he was like a stepfather to Maddie and that she thinks of him as a dad. I asked Stephan when he and Matt, or what he and Maddie would
Oops.
spoke about. Sorry, it's
I
like
know
phrased
with
weird.
the redacted, it makes it
Just-
rough too.
right. About when they would FaceTime, and he stated he would speak to both Maddie and Jenn. When I asked Stephan if he recalled what time he had factory reset his phone, he stated he was not sure because he was not a morning person, but believed it was before he went to the smoke shop. He then stated the update had a weird option about reinstalling everything and he was not paying attention to what he was doing. I asked if he could explain to me how he did the update, and he stated it was push a notification that appeared at the top he had ignored for a long time. He Stephan stated his phone took him to the page with system and he clicked something and was not sure what happened because he was not paying attention. After starting the update, the phone reset. I asked Stephan to explain to me what he did when he returned to get his key fob. He stated he parked, ran inside, grabbed the key fob, got back in his vehicle, and left the complex for his morning mission. Some of his wording is so.
It's so weird. It is so weird. It's gives me the feeling of someone who, and I'm sorry, the N word drives people crazy, but a narcissist.
Mhm.
I mean, making everything sound so, yeah, no, he's weird.
Yeah. So he stated that after he dropped Maddie off at 8:40, he drove directly to the smoke shop and waited approximately 5 or 10 minutes for them to open. I asked him if he went anywhere else after the smoke shop. He stated he was probably driving towards the direction of home and did not recall stopping anywhere. I mean, how would you forget? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, so this is the second interview. The first interview,
yeah,
they went through his driving over and over again. And
yep.
they know. I mean, obviously they
And
have
this
the
is what, one
cameras.
day later?
Yeah,
It's not like it's super long after. It's one
right.
day after.
They were on him so fast.
Yeah.
So, I'm just gonna skip through all of this driving around part because that's the next three paragraphs.
Yeah.
And we know at this point that he was driving around up and down the highway, different things like that. They were trying to narrow down basically his location because it was clear at this point that she was last seen in his vehicle with him. And she was motionless on camera every time that they have her on camera.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. I asked Stephan if he had issues with his memory, and he stated he was diagnosed with ADHD. He did not have his phone on him and was not sure of the time. I asked if he had a clock in the car, and he stated he believed he did, but it was not his car. Every car, sir, every
So
car has a clock in it.
you got a radio, you got a clock. Even if you don't, oh, yeah.
He stated he was 90% sure he was in the smoke shop parking lot around 10 a.m. I asked Stephan if when he returned to get his key fob, Maddie had gone inside with him. He stated she had not because she was asleep. He must know that camera was going to see her.
Yes, he knew from the beginning. Yeah, he had figured out. He figured if you look at all his interviews and even when they were reporting her missing, he had this whole story and he was going through that story from day one. And he thought it all out
Absolutely. And then that makes you wonder, did he plan it for her 13th
ahead
birthday
of
weekend?
time.
Right.
And that's it. Yeah,
Like how thought out was this? How planned was it? Or
right.
did something
Have
drastic
to.
happen that
Yeah.
night and then he had to go into like fight or flight mode type of thing?
And that's what you and I just talked about a few minutes ago. There's different possibilities of what happened. Was
Mhm.
it truly she was just getting to be too old and he was worried about her saying something and planned something, or were the actions themselves leading to something bad that happened? And then he had to hide it.
Right.
So,
Yep. So, let's see here. Stefan stated everything looked the same. He was drawing a blank about any specific businesses and only recalled pulling into a plaza. He stated he was driving towards John Young Parkway and US 192 when it occurred. Stefan recalled going to a Target on US 192 near Walmart and was going to the House of Cards but got a flat tire somewhere before he got to Oak Street. He was not sure how long it took to change his tire, but he believed he returned home at approximately 2:35. He again apologized and stated his brain did not work properly because he had ADHD. While speaking to Stefan, I noticed that he was wearing a blue shirt. In the videos from earlier in the day, he was observed wearing a red shirt. Stefan stated he had not changed clothes since the previous morning and did not believe that he showered either. I asked Stefan if I could take a picture of his hands, to which he advised was fine. In the pictures, I noticed that he had a significant scar, approximately 2 to 3 inches long, on the top part of his right wrist. He also had minor scratches on the top part of his left hand. I informed Stephan his phone was going to be downloaded overnight and he would probably not get it back until the following morning, and he stated that was fine. Like, he was so confident that that factory reset was going to work.
That's what gets me. From the moment we heard about a factory reset, every one of us are like, there it is. Point the finger. Okay, everyone was pretty much, and it's like anyone knows. Well,
Right?
no, we all know
Well,
because we follow true crime,
that's
but
it.
I
I was
guess
gonna
not
say
everyone
the
knows.
average public, I mean, I honestly don't there's still so many people who just don't believe this stuff is real life.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And they think they could get rid of things by just deleting it. Hit delete and it's gone. No, even if you do delete, they're going to be able to track this stuff. And it all actually, in this case, it starts off with the Google stuff. And then from there, it just
Just keeps going.
snowballs.
Yep. Hi, Cooter. Hi, World Peas. Hi, Little.
Little
Okay. So they let's see. During this time, it was discovered that that Jenn's vehicle had been driven February 27th between the hours of 3:27 and 4:25 in the morning, like in the middle of the night. So he took her car in the middle of the night somewhere on 190 on US 192.
Yeah.
Oh, so wait, that's the day after. So that's
Wait,
February
yeah,
27th.
that's February
That's the day
20.
after.
Yeah.
That's after they took his car. Okay. And so it had also traveled on February 28th between the hours of 4:42 a.m. and 10:55 a.m.
That was a big.
between US 192 and the northwest to Northport, Florida. You makes you wonder, did he put her there right away, or did he
Mover.
panic, go back and get her and move her? Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering there. And that's what I mean. If you look further, I haven't even tried to analyze them yet, but they have all of his data of him moving and his phone, all the pings and all. And I've been later on, I want to sit and try to make sense out of that. But yeah, he was everywhere.
I think Gray Hughes sat there and mapped
Did
every.
he?
hmm
Okay,
Yeah,
I gotta go
and
watch
so
that.
that's something that if you guys are following him for this case, I'm pretty sure that he mapped every location that they mention in these documents so that you can see the whole back and forth and the path and different things like that.
Nice. Okay,
Um,
definitely.
so the search warrant for Jenn's residence was served on February 28th at approximately 8 a.m. Oh, sorry, wait, I totally skipped this
Yep,
whole
one more
paragraph.
pack. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So after Stephan's phone had been successfully downloaded on the morning of February 28th, the sergeant with the digital forensics unit contacted Corporal Avila to advise him that there was child sexual abuse material on Stephan's cell phone. During review of the pictures, we observed images that contained Maddie performing oral sex and being penetrated and posing nude. In these pictures, the background was readily identifiable, and we were able to determine that these incidents occurred at their home, basically. In a
Yeah.
picture located on, a picture located on Stephan's phone, we observed a black mark near the tip of
Yeah.
his member. They were able to identify him via a mole, basically, that he
Pretty
has.
much. Yeah.
And so they know that it was her, they know that it was him, and they know that it was happening in that house on the morning of the 28th. So
Yeah.
just 2 days it took them to have the evidence that they needed to
To start moving.
arrest him.
Yep, exactly. They knew so quickly on all this.
I wish that every monster was this stupid.
Stupid. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And all because yeah, everything does. I mean, it was blatantly right there. It is disgusting. It's completely disgusting. But what's so sad about it is, and I know Sleuth has been mentioning this over and over, what poor Maddie went through, if there's other Maddies out there. And so hopefully with her case and story being out there, hopefully others will hear that this is not normal life. This is not what normal life should be like in a household. And also,
Yeah, it's not okay. And one of the things that, like, I'm so happy that Florida is doing is they are going after him for the death penalty.
Yep.
Um, I know that there's different controversies about, agreeing with the death penalty, not agreeing, different things like
Mhm.
that. But I fully believe that our country
Mhm.
is in the state that it's in because we have not been going harshly after the people who are doing this to
Yeah.
children, whether
Yeah.
it's SA, whether it's,
Mhm.
murder, whatever it
I
is.
agree.
They're not going hard enough after
No.
these kids. I mean, there was a mom just recently that killed her baby and is only getting 10 years. And it's like you killed a whole child and you're getting
But
10
that's
years. Like
yeah.
why?
It's not taken seriously, number one. So whoever is committing the crimes to begin with, okay, it becomes slaps on the wrist for them. And then for whoever is on the receiving end, the poor child who has to go through this, we know about the cycles. Not every child will re-abuse, but we do know it becomes a cycle that needs to be broken in many of the cases.
Yeah,
And
and
also, if we take it serious, yeah, sorry,
no, I was gonna say, even if it's not a cycle of them re-abusing or
ruins their life.
becoming an abuser, yeah, like how much what is their issues with drug addictions or
Mhm.
alcohol abuse or maybe just even
Exactly.
commitment.
Yeah.
Do they have a fear of commitment and maybe won't allow themselves to be loved for the rest of their lives. Like this is a lifelong impact
Oh,
on these
look at the
kids.
financial. Forget just even mental health. Well, the mental health connection into things like financial. Okay. Many people, especially if you're going through long term abuse and all, you're having to deal with that. And that can often affect your ability to hold down a job. Okay. It can affect all these things that go on in your life. And as a country, we have to deal with that side of it also. So by holding people responsible for what they need to do, hopefully we can start letting people realize it's not okay. And for the people who've had to go through it, they start realizing that, you know what was being done was wrong, and people have their backs and will support them no matter what, because that's the other
Right.
side of it. I don't think if you give someone a slap on the wrist, I think a lot of time the kid grows up thinking, oh well, yeah, I guess it wasn't that big of an issue.
Right.
So
No, I agree. And I think like it's gotten to the point too, like where, in some situations, maybe okay, we've talked about this before because somebody had asked me, do I think that every type of murder deserves the death penalty? And basically my response was no, but only because sometimes it really is an accident. Like if you have a vehicular manslaughter, for
yeah,
example, or
exactly.
something along those lines. But I think that there's a reason that because we try to make leniency for those certain cases that somehow we've gotten to the point where everybody's like, "Oh, well, it's not humane to treat everybody else harshly and not that person,"
Right,
or whatever,
right.
and so we lower the standard of jail
In
time
general.
and punishment for everybody to try to make it quote unquote fair or what. I don't know. It's just stupid. The whole
No,
thing is
it
stupid.
is. It's a rough thing because I
Yeah.
am one who believes in people. If they put their mind to it,
Mhm.
people can get better.
Right.
Okay. Does
But
the
they have to want
majority of
to.
people do it?
Mhm.
Probably not the majority, though. That's the problem. So, what we do is it's like when we legislate based off of the minority rather
Mhm.
than, and I don't mean in types of population or whatever,
No,
but it's
yeah.
like in healthcare.
Smaller
We put,
percentage of
yeah,
the people. Mhm.
yeah, we put policies and procedures in place for healthcare based off of that one person who's going to get up and do something wrong.
Right.
Okay, or fall down or not do this or do this. And we forget that's the minority. We need to
Mhm.
look at everyone, not just that one or two person.
Yeah, it's hard.
And
It's tough.
yeah, yeah, it
It's
is.
tough. Oh man. So, okay, so prior to finishing the interview with Jen, I was advised that the VCS had located a video of Stefan discarding something in the trash compactor located at his apartment complex on February the 26th at 7:35 in the morning. Hi, Amy in Boston. In this video, they observed a female wearing a green sweater in the front passenger seat of the vehicle. The female appeared to be completely slumped over with her mouth ajar. At this time, the detective established custody of the trash compactor until Waste Management arrived for their regularly scheduled pickup. So thank God they didn't already
Yeah,
come get the trash, because they would have been searching.
gone off to a different direction. Yeah.
hmm Um, so they were able to empty the trash compactor. They also seen him throwing his tire in. And let's see. And so they were able to locate those contents, basically.
Yeah.
And let's see here. So they were able to identify him by his genitals, to the picture
Yep.
of the genitals on the cell phone.
Yep.
So I'm just going to skip through some of that.
Yeah, exactly. Find what matters.
Okay. So this is where they talk about him in a parking garage. He opened the trunk of the trunk of the vehicle. He walked to the front passenger side of the vehicle, opened the door, and proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp body to the trunk of the vehicle. So this is where they see him in the parking garage actually move her from the front seat and into the trunk.
Trunk.
So, and they did take his car. I imagine that they are going to have a ton of forensic evidence from
Oh,
outside
yeah,
of his vehicle.
exactly. Yeah, I was looking through the list of all the forensic stuff, and yeah, it's tons of it.
So I'm going to skip down to Jenn now. Let me get to, can't remember what page that's on. Let me,
Was, let me check here.
94.
94.
Oh, wait, let me look at page 45 first, actually.
Oh, anti-grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did watch the interview earlier from Nancy Grace with the aunt. If you guys didn't see that, we did watch that earlier today. And, they were just honestly, she seemed upset and honestly baffled. They had no idea that Maddie was going through this. They also had no clue that she was being sent to bed with him on a regular basis or at all. It wasn't something that she had ever said to them. And I think it's important to realize that in most, I would say the vast majority of child sexual abuse cases or even regular child abuse cases, um, most of the time that child is not going to talk or tell anyone. Maybe not even as an adult, right?
Yeah.
There are people who hold these secrets with them until the grave, and they
Exactly.
never ever speak up. And that's why it's so important as parents or as aunties, as uncles, as friends,
Yep.
families, pay attention. Pay attention to your children, and try to look for these signs, because I don't care how close you are with that child, they may not willingly talk to you about this ever.
Exactly. And a lot of it is, okay, it could be threats, things like that, but it could also be if this is what life has been for so long for her. Okay, and she doesn't have, maybe she's never gotten close enough to realize that's not normal for other children, that she doesn't say things because it's not something that she sees as not illicit activity or something like that. Plus, there's the love and fear. Okay, fear, okay, who's going to take care of me if they're not here with me? Okay, or I love my mom. Okay, how many times have we seen a child who has been abused by their parent and they scream as they're being taken away from their parent because that love is still there no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And so they talk about, so they say, this is the recorded conversation. Here's the synopsis of it. This is with aunt and grandfather. I'm sorry, I said grandmother first. So they were visibly and emotionally concerned for Maddie's well-being. Auntie said that she did not believe that Maddie would run away because she did not believe that she would do that. They described Maddie's recent birthday celebration, but they did not know any reason of why she would be upset. To their knowledge, she she had not been in communication with any of the family members since she had been reported missing. They honestly were just very concerned and worried for her well-being. But then it does go into talking about room number 4. And room number 4 from what I understand, is where likely most of this abuse took place. So it says at approximately 11:30, I assisted in searching a room in the residence on the second floor, identified by a chrome number 4 on the outside of the door. Inside of the room, I located a black backpack which had one orange bottle of Solo lotion in it. The back of the bottle identified as product as masturbation cream. I photographed them and pointed it out to the crime scene investigator, and she collected it. So then they go into Maddie's designated space. At approximately 11:50, I made contact with the detectives via the cell phone and via a video call. They showed us digital photographs of presumably Stearns sexually abusing Maddie. The purpose of viewing the child sexual abuse material via a video phone call was to ensure the correct evidence was collected and preserved to the best of our abilities. We examined the clothing worn by both Maddie and Stearns, along with surrounding items such as sheets, blankets, and other articles of clothing. We were able to identify some of the items seen in the photographs in a downstairs area that was previously described by detectives as Maddie's room. The space appeared to be the living room of the apartment turned into a bedroom with a folding room divider between the bedroom space and the kitchen dining room. This area was located on the far right of the apartment's first floor when you enter from the front door. The items were located and documented. So at the conclusion of the search, I made contact with the corporal via the phone, and they notified me at the front office of the complex that had been working on providing video surveillance from the complex. It's an unknown staff member stated the process to provide the video was going to take approximately 6 hours due to how it had to be viewed and downloaded from the system. At approximately 1:45, I made contact with Blank, who identified himself as the operations manager for security. I provided Blank with my direct agency phone number and requested that he notify me immediately when the video surveillance was ready to be collected. I did not hear back from him, but later found out that he had been in communication with other detectives. So they talk again about the mark on Stearns matching the photos and the videos.
A certain shirt.
And then they took his vape pen from him, I'm going to guess for DNA collection.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so it says at one point while I was examining the photographs of Maddie being sexually abused to ensure all potential evidence was collected, I located a photo of Stearns with his face visible and his tongue on her. It's just,
Yeah, no, I remember when things first started coming out and reporting on it covered this, and I could barely make it through all the information as it was coming out. It was
it,
just,
it just doesn't, for him to be this comfortable,
mm-hmm.
to just have all of this in his phone, on his device, like just to be this comfortable. Like
And this is my thought. I don't see Jenn not knowing all this and others, because that comfort level that he is showing here comes from a feeling of comfort of being able to not have to hide it anytime in his life. Okay, anyone in the house, things like that. We hear later on where others kind of knew what was going on. Okay, he didn't have to hide it all this time. Didn't think about it.
Yeah. I guess my thing is to it just keeps bothering me about how whenever she wanted to sleep well, like that she would send them away. And somebody
Yes.
pointed out earlier, was it because that they were trying to do stuff in the bed while she was there, maybe?
Yep.
Like, what was going on that she would send them out
Mhm.
of the room? It just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a
And
lot.
then what was the anxiety from? Was the
Hmm.
anxiety because she knew it was wrong? Or was the anxiety more from like, oh gosh, there's just too much going on and I can't get any peace and quiet? I mean, that takes two totally different angles there.
Right.
And, but yeah, that's not to mention the fact this was going on for a while, and just the idea of Maddie didn't have any private area for herself. And as a teenager, that's that's first and foremost to have that private space that you can go to be with yourself and kind of work through all the fun of growing up and being a teenager. And she never had that.
Right. I wonder how often she was allowed to, like, spend the night other places or, actually be
For the
free from
fun's
this
sake.
because it really bothers me that they were separated and he was still traveling there to, like, spend the night to cuddle
Oh,
Maddie to
that's so
sleep, and, like, it's just there's just so much, and then you go back to why? Why
yeah,
this evening? Why was this evening different than the previous 5 years
years.
that he
What
likely had been
happened?
abusing this child?
Yeah,
What was the breaking point?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was wondering. I know they interviewed her best friend. I'm looking through to see, did her best friend talk about sleepovers or anything like that?
So that one is after
107.
Jen's, yeah. So I was trying
Yeah.
to get down to Jen's, but I was just
Oh, no,
kind of
no. Go back to
scrolling
Jen. Sorry. I'm
yeah.
bouncing all over the place
No,
too.
you're fine. I was just scrolling and trying to pay attention to make sure I don't pass up something. Some of these documents are like
It's
repeated or it's like
That's
the
yes.
same incident, but it's a different perspective, I guess, of that same exact
Exactly.
conversation. And so
Exactly. You have
let's see here.
every officer has to do their own version of the report.
Right,
Then you have some that it's copy and paste over and over.
right.
Interview with Mary
Okay. So
Ellie.
here it is. So during the interview, okay, wait. Where are we at here? Yeah, during the interview with Jenn, um, we confirmed that Maddie lives with her and her boyfriend of approximately 7 years, was Stephan Stearns. As the interview was conducted, Jenn stated that on rare occasions, Maddie and Stephan slept in the same bed. According to Jenn, the reason for this is so that she could get some sleep, because sometimes all three of them would sleep in the same bed. Jenn also confirmed with the detective that she and Stephan had been sexually intimate. The detective presented Jenn with various images that were recovered from Stephan's cell phone. The first image was a hand placed on the buttocks of a white female. After viewing this image, Jenn identified this hand as belonging to Stephan. So the detective showed Jenn a close-up photograph of his genitalia. She reviewed the picture but was unable to identify it. And then how often were they doing things that she couldn't even recognize it?
Identify. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, that kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And
But
you wonder
again, they
how
were on again, off again. How much more time were they off again than they were on again? How
exactly.
often were they actually intimate? Like, I'm sure
Hmm.
that whenever they asked her, "Oh, have you ever been intimate with him?" It was just so that
A
they could
couple
show her
times.
these pictures and see if she could
Right.
identify. Like, didn't
Exactly.
mean it was recent.
No, no. And in from what I see, most of the relationship was so that he could have access to Maddie. Okay, and he couldn't get that access without probably rekindling that relationship over and over with mom. So,
Right. So then in the next photo that they show her, she does identify it, but she identifies it based off of the clothing and the blankets nearby. A few minutes later, the detective paused the interview with Jenn and waited for the Kissimmee Police Department detectives to respond so the interview could continue. They did not, or the detective did not participate in the rest of the interview once those detectives arrived. So then we go down to
hello, Kaleidohope.
Hi, Kaleidohope. Let's see. So the towing of the vehicle. Where is the rest of the interview?
Mary Ellie's interview.
So this one,
Speak. Who is that?
oh, during this time, okay, so this one is, okay, this one's actually important. So on February 29th, Mary Lee called into the Orange County Sheriff's Office and reported she possibly had information on this case. They responded to her address and conducted an interview. She reported that she came to know Stephan Stearns through working with him at Disney. She explained that their relationship had become intimate around December of 2022 and ended in May of 2023. During this time, she said that Stearns told her that he was separated from his girlfriend and that he told her, although he was separated from his girlfriend, he still slept at Jenn's residence and specifically in the bed with Maddie. She said that he justified this behavior by saying that he needed to cuddle with her so that she could fall asleep. She further recalled a conversation that she had with Stearns where he told her that he woke up in the bed with Maddie with an erection and had to turn around in the bed. She felt the comments that Stearns made about her sleeping with Maddie were inappropriate, and she stopped talking to him shortly after they were made. Like, okay,
That
yes.
alone,
Why
that
was this never
shows.
reported to me? That's my
Mhm.
first thought. Like, if I'm sorry, if a grown man told me that they were sleeping with a
12 or 13
teenage
year.
girl,
Yep.
there ain't no way.
Yeah, exactly. And it shows how comfortable he was with the information. Okay, to just let that out to a coworker or something like that.
Mhm.
He's how many other times had he told people the same thing? People who probably have never come forward and made a comment. It, yeah.
Yeah, no, he
Mhm.
was definitely comfortable. And I kind of said something about that earlier today too, because we were reading whenever Jen first told the police that, and I'm thinking to myself, like, if she thought it was wrong,
Mhm.
she wouldn't have told the police.
Exactly.
Eh,
Exactly. That's true.
I mean, if she thought it was wrong, she wouldn't have been so forthcoming with the information. And so then you have to question, was she really that naive to think that nothing, like that he was just completely fine coming over her house whenever he felt like to sleep with Maddie on these random nights? Like, I don't know.
To me, there's no excuse for thinking something like that is not wrong. Okay, even if you've been through something yourself as a child, okay, and as a survivor, I'll come out and say I knew what was wrong. As an adult, you know what's right, you know what's wrong. Your job is to protect your child, and also
Right. Okay. Now, this next part. Whoops. I was trying to
what's
scroll.
this?
Like, I was trying to do the quick scroll and it
Oh,
like
and then you go,
froze it.
wait. Oh, yes. This document is so large that that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So now this next one is the interview with her friend. And the interview with her friend, it says blank is the best friend of Maddie, also known as blank. They have known each other since they were in fourth grade. She is close with blank's, I'm going to say Maddie's mother, right?
yeah,
Um,
I would think so. Yeah.
and blank has never told her anything about running away, other than if she did, she would run away to the woods and find a place to stay. Maddie told her she didn't get along with her mom. She had heard from another friend that Maddie's mom told her she was going to kick her out of the house and disown her when she turned 18 or 19. She talked to Maddie every day on the phone, and Maddie would text her every morning when she woke up. She thought it was odd that did not receive a text from Maddie on Monday, February 26th. When she called Maddie on the morning of February 26th, there was no answer. She further stated that Maddie only mentioned her biological father briefly, but she was always on a call with her stepdad, Stephan. Stephan and Maddie were always texting each other or talking on the phone. She loved him and they were really close. Stephan is Maddie's mom's boyfriend and he has been in her life for a long period of time. He recently moved out of the home, but he still visits often. Stephan and Maddie's mom were also, oh, sorry, probably not Maddie. It says Stephan and Blank's mom were also very
Mom.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
whoever Blank is.
Yeah.
Blank talks to Stephan at least 2 to 3 times a week on a phone, but also texts with him. She usually talks to him on the phone in the afternoon or at night. Blank describes Stephan as very interested in Maddie, and Maddie would tell him about things going on at school. She never disclosed to her anything inappropriate that Stephan had said or did, and she's never witnessed anything inappropriate between Maddie and Stephan. Normally, Blank's mom or grandparents bring her to school, but she does not recall a time when Stephan has ever brought Maddie to school. Blank stated that there are roommates that also live in the home with Maddie and her mother. She believes it is people who are close to their family but don't have enough money to live on their own. Last time she talked to Maddie was on Sunday, February 25th at the birthday party, and the party took place at Maddie's grandparents' home. Neither Maddie's mom nor her mom's boyfriend were in attendance at the birthday party. It was also common for Maddie to talk about getting money for her birthday. She got mad at Blank for not giving her any money for her birthday and complained because she didn't get enough money for her birthday. I wonder, like, could they have gotten into a fight about that? Did he not give her a big enough birthday present and, like, she was angry about it and then they got into a fight?
Possibly. It's interesting the push on money here. There's a lot of discussion on money here.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's interesting. I noticed, in fact, Roberta made the comment about um how horrible it is to tell your daughter that you want to kick her out and all that. And I've always wondered, was mom jealous of
Yeah.
Maddie? And that kind of fits with that whole thing. But yeah, the money thing, part of me is like, were they using money as a way to control Maddie? Was there money being given or stuff like that? I don't know. It's just, it's weird, this
Yeah,
whole,
like gifts, like silent
yeah.
gifts.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You see a
And
lot of abusers do that. Like, it'll start out with, like, a special toy or candy or, did she escalate to the point where she was expecting them to give her large sums of money? You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, exactly,
Or even
exactly.
small sums of money that would have been large to her. You know what I mean?
True, true. Everything's relative.
Mhm.
And yeah, interesting.
So
Not
Blank left the
sure.
party at approximately 7 p.m. and did not verbally speak with Maddie
Maddie,
again. Blank stated that Maddie does not miss school often, but is sick a lot. Probably
which
because
means
of the stuff
sleeping
going.
during the day, not feeling,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
what's happening
probably.
at night.
Yep. Once they were at Blank, Maddie told her it would be cool if they ran into the woods and build a house. Maddie has never told her she truly wanted to run away, but she did mention that she wanted to get her own house when she is older. Maddie has never tried or threatened to harm herself, nor does she talk about anyone harming themselves. Blank stated that Maddie allegedly told their mutual friend Blank that when she turns 13, she was going to leave the house and never come back. Maddie also communicates with her sister and father who live in Washington, D.C. Blank believes that Maddie is close with her sister, and Maddie also talks to different random people through Roblox. She is unaware if Maddie has ever met up with any of these strangers she speaks with. She is also unaware if Maddie has ever engaged in any inappropriate conversations with older men or older women. Maddie has never disclosed anything about sending or receiving inappropriate photos, and her Roblox name is blank, and she has Instagram, but she does not know her username. Also has YouTube
It's
Shorts
interesting.
under an account username on her YouTube accounts and will post video of herself dancing with her face covered. Maddie had planned on showing her face on her YouTube account once she reached 2000 or 200 subscribers. She stated that when they would text each other, it was through normal messages on their iPhones. She was unaware if Maddie had any texting applications on her phone. She did not have a boyfriend, but a crush named Blank that goes to school with them. And she also claims that he doesn't, or she claims that he does not like Maddie and ignores her text messages. They also do not hang out with each other. Maddie did not disclose that she wanted to skip school and has not asked Blank to skip school with her. She only knows that Maddie takes medication for ADHD and possibly bipolar disorder. She described Maddie as impulsive and having mood swings and symptoms of bipolar. Maddie last took her medication on February 14th and would tell everyone about not taking them. Maddie told her she liked not being on the medication because she has
Yeah.
more energy when she doesn't take it. She is not aware of participating in any risky or inappropriate behaviors for her age, and she does not know about her hanging out with anyone older outside of the school or running away with anyone. She only knows that Maddie is close with her stepdad and talks with him a lot. She stated that Maddie's mother called her during the evening of February 26th and asked her if she was with Maddie because Maddie was missing. She also told her that she was last saw at 8:45 when she again with the she dropped her
She,
off at school.
yep.
She implicates herself as dropping them off. She said she dropped her off at the church because Maddie wanted to walk to school, which is unusual. Maddie is typically dropped off in the car line. She stated that her father went into the woods behind school during the evening of February 26th to attempt to locate Maddie, but was unsuccessful. This is like so Jenn told the friend that she's the one who dropped her off too.
Yeah.
It just why did she put herself into it? Because we noticed that during the interview, during the
Yeah.
news interview, she says we dropped her off. I I really think did he go back to that house and
I'm
threaten
really
Jenn
wondering
to
if was she trying to cover for him? And because she was the one who usually dropped, was saying that. And then when they got caught, that no, that's when things started changing. I can't remember on the timeline on that,
right?
but it's definitely, which then tells you right there, she knew what was going
Well,
on from
because
the
he
get go.
had that previous incident at Disney World or wherever that he
Hmm.
got fired from.
Right.
And so did she know about that and then assume that they were going to think because Maddie ran away that they were going to assume that Stearns was guilty? Like, did he have that conversation with her at some point that evening and was like, listen, you got to cover for me because I dropped her off for
Right.
you. And
You
now you have to cover for me because I'm not going down for this type of thing. You know what I mean?
potentially, yeah,
Like
there are
guilt her into
potentials
it.
there. There are definitely
Mm,
potentials. That's the thing. There's a couple different options here.
right.
Okay, and hey
Mm,
Astro, and hello Seal, by the way. And yeah, no, I agree, Astro. I think okay, where it comes down to is that Stefan was more interested in Maddie, and Mom was just the avenue and
complacent.
vehicle to Maddie.
Yep.
Yeah, and complicit. Honestly, I think that too.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot. This whole case is just so much, and I wish that we had
Yes.
more information about what the story actually is. Because whenever it comes
Right.
down to it, every time police are asked about this,
Mhm.
they gloss over it, and
Mhm.
that's the red flag to me also because they're not saying that there is no connection. They're not
Right.
saying that Jenn is innocent. They're not saying, "Hey, we have no reason to think anybody outside of Stearns."
Yeah.
Whenever what they're saying is, "We're still investigating."
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still not sure why they're not making a decision on that. Is it they're waiting for a clinical diagnosis? One thing I have noticed with this is all of them talk about ADHD. Now you got the bipolar stuff there, things like that. So I wonder how many of those things were actually diagnosed. Was
Right.
Stefan actually diagnosed ADHD? Was okay, Maddie diagnosed bipolar or ADHD? Or are they just giving her medication for the, I hate to say it, but a lot of times, okay, if you go to a doctor and say, oh, yeah, my past doctor diagnosed me as this, and this is the medicine I'm on, they'll do, but 13 years old is a little on the young side for, especially the bipolar diagnosis.
So um she has a counselor who is interviewed. I'm trying
Mm.
to see.
Oh, you're right. Okay, wait.
That was a video put up just recently, so I want to grab that because
Great. Thank you.
where is it?
Yeah, Roberta, I have a feeling there's a lot more because even just going through the 896 pages, there's page upon page after page that is completely black. And in
Yeah.
fact, at first I thought it was just my computer. Then I realized, oh, no, it's full pages that are redacted here.
Yep. Oh yeah. This entire court process um is going to
Yeah.
be extremely lengthy,
Yeah.
especially since it's a death penalty case. Um
Yeah.
they're going to have a ton of stuff to go through. I mean, we thought that Letitia had a huge case file. This one is
This is
going to
going to be
be,
big. Yeah,
yeah,
this is
this
going
is
to be
going to be never
huge.
ending, especially since now you're looking into cyber crimes and sex crimes and different things like that. That's going to be
There's going to be a lot.
interesting.
Let's see. We got PE teacher,
This
reading
one,
teacher. Teen-
so this one, here it is. Where is it? So they go down through on shortly after that interview. They interview several more of her friends, and I'm just gonna pull a couple snapshots from this. We're not gonna read down through all of them for the
Right.
interest of time right now, and this is something that we can read down through.
On part 4.
Yeah, on part 4. Um, here, where was it? Where did it go? Hold on.
33-year-old.
So Maddie has been having sleepy days. Okay. Um,
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of
yeah, where she
comments
comes in
about
and she puts her head down,
fiber.
she does nothing, which she said not a lot of kids do. Maddie told me that he only keeps academic tabs and said that they only had conversations about her grades. Maddie said they never had conversations about Maddie's home life, and he did not meet her parents. Oh, what's that? That's the crush. Okay, so down here, they say her best friends recalled how she would come to school crying and complaining about her mother. Other times she would cry and say that she just wanted to cry. They did not know any changes in her behavior and did not talk to her about suicide or depression. They stated that Maddie would occasionally be mean and asked her why, and she said it was because that's just how she shows affection. Tell me that's not a red flag.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Like being outwardly
I
abusive
show
to your
affection.
friends basically. Yeah, like,
Exactly.
and that's how I show you that I love you. They stated that her mother threatened to kick her out. Additionally, she does not like her father. She did not hear Maddie speak about her mother's boyfriend and continued to say that Maddie did not ever talk about sex. They just talked about crushes, including Maddie's current interest. Um, let's see, there was another one.
That's sweet.
So she seemed pretty sad sometimes, though she noted the other times she seemed happy, particularly at school. She didn't think that she was depressed or suicidal. She did mention wanting to run away when she was 13 years old to build a house in the woods. Why was 13 so significant for her? Did
For
he
her.
tell her once she hit 13 he was done with her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he have a particular age set?
There was something about that year that was really either scaring her or it was important. I mean, yeah, the 13-year-old here, she even goes into talking about how she described Maddie's mom as bipolar. So we're going back to the
Mhm.
bipolar bit.
Right.
Okay. Were they pushing, how long had they been calling her bipolar? Was it in
Right.
connection with her getting to that teenage year or something? So
Well,
she
and it
was
just
fighting back more? So,
yeah, she I mean, she's going through these depressive phases. She's getting abused on a regular basis. On a regular basis.
right.
I don't know. It's just sad. This was her
This is
reality.
one.
Guys,
Yep.
this was this child's reality for years. I just
It's interesting. There's a comment, okay, in the thing with the 13-year-old on February 29th, page 113 at the bottom, where they talked about how emphasized that Maddie's mentioning of living in the woods was only if World War III were to happen. And you start
oh,
wondering,
okay.
did she mean World War III in the way that most of us, or as in if the shit hit the fan type thing
Right.
and she had to get the hell out?
Blank told me that Maddie typically got her menstrual cycle 2 days before she did, except last month when Maddie got hers a week or two after Blank got hers. Blank told me they did not have a conversation as to why her menstrual cycle was late, but she believed Maddie was a virgin and she did not ever see or hear anything to the contrary. She stated that Maddie's mother was never freaking out, and she thought that it was weird that she said that she dropped Maddie off at school when initially Stephan said that he did. Blank was shocked when he saw the news about Stephan's arrest, though she said that that thought crossed her mind once Maddie had gone missing. She noted how she would always receive messages in the morning from Maddie, but she did not on February 26th, which alarmed her. She said that even when Maddie would oversleep, she would still receive messages. But the period thing.
That's freaking me out there. I was just getting ready to write to you privately. If she was at that point, what were they doing on birth control? Because if
Yeah.
yeah, that scares me right there.
And that's something that eventually we'll know if
Medical,
that played
medical.
into
So
that. Yeah.
yeah,
If there's anything to that information.
yeah, that would pop up. This poor baby.
Just the overall fear that she had to be going through
Yeah,
day after day.
exactly. Yep.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
And you can see it in their behavior, and that's what they tell you. Okay, as a teacher, stuff like that, you're looking at behaviors, you're looking, and you can tell what the teachers had fear that something didn't seem right, but they weren't sure what it was. It was
Right.
never anything blunt right in your face, but it was enough to be like, she was sleepy all the time, she was not feeling good, she was okay, get angry, and her behavior would go all over the place.
This is what Loco was talking about
Yes.
the computer messing up. It's literally they just blanked.
I literally thought it was my phone at one
Several.
time. It's especially at
They
the
didn't even tell
end.
you like what it's supposed to be. Like it's
Nope,
black. You're
it's
just
pure black.
not you're
Yep.
just not getting this.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, you're right. They don't even tell you what it is that they're blocking out.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, it's
But
completely
and that
gone.
tells me that there's probably a sex crimes investigation, uploaded or shared videos and things like that. I mean, there's
Yeah.
probably a much deeper investigation
Oh yeah.
outside of just his personal usage. That's just my opinion on my thoughts on this, but they're not going to want anybody that they may be looking into to be,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, they go, the
tipped
first
off.
page tells you what they've redacted, what
Mhm.
types of
Oh,
documents.
yeah.
And yeah, I was just looking through it, and a lot of it is getting into clinical records, medical stuff,
Yeah.
the
Well,
partner
an
and
item
motor
sealed by
vehicle
order of the
by the
court
court.
could literally be
Yeah,
anything.
anything. Identifying information of victims of sexual offense and or child abuse. So
Mm.
that whole section could be a lot of stuff in this case.
Oh man. I don't
This
know.
is just,
We still have
it's,
700 pages to go through, you guys.
yeah. Yeah, I do have to say, going through, I did try to, you sent me your page index thing. I'll send you what I put together. I added a bunch of other things that
Sure.
I looked at, and but a lot of it, like you said,
That was
is
just the top part. I didn't
repetition
send
or
you like
yeah, I know.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even mine is just very generic. It's like, okay, there's some photo descriptions here. There's the arrest warrant here. There's a list of evidence for forensics here. But yeah, it's a lot of the stuff is repetitive. And the phone record bit, and not phone, yeah, the phone and GPS record bit literally is what, about 30, 40 pages long.
Mhm.
And it's tons of information.
Yeah, and you got a lot
Yep,
of stuff
right
like
there.
this. I mean, every
Yeah.
minute
Yep.
that they pinged, every single
Figuring
minute.
out
So,
exactly, and those are the ones I was like, gosh, I got to figure that one out, because even trying to figure all that out is crazy.
right?
Yeah, what does this mean or that or whatever? So, yeah,
Yeah.
cat mama, totally. She was brainless. And you know what?
Look,
She probably was.
a lot
Yeah.
of people who go through this do come to love their abusers.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honest to God, if this started at 8, 9, 10 years old, she may have thought that that's just what life
Mm,
was.
exactly.
Like, she probably did honestly love him
Yep. Yeah.
because he
And
showed her love and cared about her.
And
But
that
the
care can often be
reasoning,
what it is. It's
yeah,
sickening, but we also see how many times, like I said, you have a child whose parents are abusing them, and CPS or whatever will come in and pull the child away. And we know later on down the road, and we go back and look, they're screaming they don't want to be pulled away and all because they do love that person.
mhm,
That person is what they know. Kids need stability. And that's their only level of stability, as out as the stability really is. That's all that they have. And it's sad because in this case, she was never able to really see what real love was. And yes, she has her other family and all that, but she never had that protective, loving family that so many people here. Yeah, it's a perfect fairy tale thing. Okay, there's no such thing. And okay, it's just whatever we try to give out and do for our children. Okay, it's never perfect. But she didn't even get close to what it could be.
agreed.
Seal, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Did she actually, in the way that we think of it, it was in the way that she probably thought of it. Okay, a 13-year-old does not know what love really is on that level. Okay, that's why they have crushes versus yeah. She didn't know any other way. Yeah,
Right,
Roberta.
right. Yeah, like,
Sad.
it was just her reality,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah,
that's the sad part, because there's more Maddies out there. There are more kids that are out there living with this as their
yeah,
reality, that they don't know that it's wrong.
yep,
They
yep,
don't know that they have another choice, or that there is
yeah,
another way.
yep,
It's
exactly.
horrible.
People who may be hearing other people say things, or you got that gut feeling that okay, you see something happening, or you hear of something, and you have that gut feeling. But how many of us are willing to act on that feeling?
Mhm.
And it's important for us to think about because they are out there. Okay, every time I hear a story like this, it's not the only person. It's not the only person whatsoever. There's others, and they're all in. I mean, we look at ourselves, okay? Ariel here, what she was most likely going through. Gianna, okay, you start listing the names there, and there's tons of other names that unfortunately over the next year or two will come to light that we do not know their name today. But in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months from now, we're going to know their name.
Ugh,
That's what keeps me up at night, honestly.
right,
It's, yeah, it's just,
right.
yeah. You did, Roberta. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know. But this is a tough topic. I mean, this
It
entire
is.
case is going to be a tough topic the entire time that we're covering it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep talking about the details and
Yeah.
bringing this information to light in the way that we do it,
Needs
right?
to.
In the way that I do it, in the way that Locomai does it, you know,
Yes.
from
Yeah.
a sensical, compassionate standpoint.
Yeah. Exactly.
With the reality, with the facts, with the warnings. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, guys? Like, it's not about entertainment. It's about really going through this and seeing, what can we do? How can we
Yeah.
raise awareness about this type of crap? How can we get the information out there? How can we help there not be any more Maddies? You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. No, and
Not that
yeah,
e
it's not
e even
about
if it's
turning it
just
into drama or anything
right,
like that. I
even
know
if
where
it's
you're
just
going with. Yeah.
bringing awareness to one person who might hear this video to realize that this does not have to be your life.
Not at all.
And if you have a
And
child that you're leaving unchaperoned with people, really, really think about it. Do you know that person? Are they really
keeping an eye
okay
on your
with them?
child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on them. Check the text messages. I can't believe that Jen would not have been checking
Oh,
text and wonder, is this feeling right? She says she checked the text messages the moment she went missing, but was she doing that throughout the rest of the time?
what page was
Okay.
Instagram on? Do you remember?
Oh shoot. Yes, yes. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Yes, in fact, I just thought of the Instagram. 78. Yeah, 78.
So right
Yeah, there's
here, they were applying for search warrants from Maddie's accounts to try to get information. And they applied for a search warrant for Instagram. And on March 1st, I received a response from Meta Incorporated. They advised that they denied the warrant in reference to the Instagram account. They tried to get information from Instagram, and Instagram did not. They are not going to provide the information. If she was still missing, think about how many missing children are out there communicating with God only knows who. And here you
That's
have
not just
Instagram
Instagram. That's not just Instagram. If you
and
looked at the word
Facebook.
Meta,
Meta.
Meta,
Yep.
anyone connected with Meta, and if you've gone to your Facebook lately, everything is now Meta. Yeah,
They
that-
won't cooperate with law enforcement. So you look at cases like Sebastian Rogers. If he was communicating via Meta, are police having difficulties tracking his location because they won't share that information? If you look at cases like, I don't
Caleb.
know, who's that?
Caleb Harris. He's
Caleb.
not a child, but he's still most likely it's connected to internet. And or that would help solve some of the issues. I wish we could get some way, because I'm hearing this more and more about certain companies that will not respond to police, or they take forever. Like certain phone companies are really easy to work with, other phone companies drag their legs and all. I wish there was a way that they could start reporting on the number of warrants and stuff like this that are put out and the company denies, so that we could go there and say, hey, no, that's not acceptable. Okay, no, this is information that needs to be found, and quickly.
So you look at that though, and you think about the fact that this is Meta. Okay, so Facebook and Instagram, those are reputable
Yes.
companies that keep a log of everything. I mean, they have it. They could very easily share it. Then you think of places like Snapchat, Omegle or Omegle. You know what I mean? All those other types of companies.
Mhm.
I guarantee you they're not sharing their information either.
No, no. I just checked Meta. Meta is actually formerly known as Facebook, is an American multinational tech conglomerate that owns and operates many companies, including Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. And we know how many of the younger kids use WhatsApp. Messenger, Reality, which is VR, AR stuff like MetaQuest and Horizon Worlds.
Yeah, that's an issue.
WhatsApp really gets me. That's big. Yeah, that is big.
I understand like protecting privacy, but in situations whenever it's a missing
beyond.
juvenile.
Yeah. And also, and that's the thing. It's a judge. It's not just the police just saying, hey, can you share this with us? It's a judge saying, this is information that we need.
Right. And
That's
they're denying
rare
it.
to me. Yeah, exactly. And yet, sorry, but I'm going to say it. How many times does our information get shared out by those companies to other groups? Okay. I mean, take a look at how information on a marketing level and stuff like that. I'm like, come on, guys. Let's look at what's important. And it's these kids that go missing. It's the adults that go missing. And you might be able to connect a name with what's happening. I know the person I covered the other day, Michael Rekenes. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He was found. He's the one
good.
from College Station, Texas. Yeah, he was found and he's safe. But his dad actually made a point to say, don't let your kids get on Discord or play esports. And it's because he was involved in both those things. And that's where your virtual stuff happens. That's where so I suspect his disappearance, just based off of that comment from his dad, may have had
Social
some
media.
connection to social media.
Yeah. And I feel like it's probably a good majority of these teens, honestly. Lord out so easy anymore. But
oh yeah.
oh,
You
man.
got it. You got it.
But
So yeah.
anyways,
no, you got
guys,
it.
thank you so much all of you guys for hanging out and kind of listening to these details, listening to our opinions and chit chatting. Logo, as always, thank you for coming on. We'll get back to
You.
this again next Wednesday over on Locomized channel. What
Yes,
you got
got
planned for
it.
tomorrow? You gonna go go live tomorrow. You've been live. We're gonna
I
be live
know, that's
every
what's
day now.
I know. It's like, oh
I'm
my
just
God,
kidding.
what's happening? Well, if we get another big news break, who knows? But yeah, no, I don't even know what I'm going to cover on Friday. I've got to figure that one out. So
Okay.
there's so much going on though right now with the on case. It's Soraya, so much going on with that. Caleb, it's kind of hit this quiet spot, but I hope they can get some answers pretty soon.
Mhm.
And so thank you though. Thank you, Miss Nicole, Miss Sleuth Mom. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.